Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Monday. How's it going out there? Did you have a good weekend? It's kind of a long weekend for me, if I'm honest. If I don't have that usual charming energy today, boy, we got a lot done. We had a new dojo come out, and so we've got all kinds of cool little things that people have noticed that we can maybe make better, or things that were exciting for them. So I'm happy to have that going there. If you don't know, if you're one of our customers, you now log into the dojo and you see your entire account performance, all the notes I've left for you, your transactions, all the individual funds, all the good stuff that we've spent a long time working on. And I won't make a big deal out of it here today, but if I could just share one thing real quick. Let's use a test one. Let's say you're looking at your account, you want to know how much you've deposited. This is going to be a big question between now and April. So I'm going to choose, this is our little mock account here. What you have is a little speedometer looking thing that shows you how much you've contributed for the year. Now this is going to be set to 2021. So in this one we've got 340 of 6,000. You can change it to 2020 and see how much you've contributed, so you know how many more dollars you could put in for 2020, because you guys know you can contribute up to 6,000 if you're under the age of 50 for the age of 2020, but you can do it up until tax day. So I just want to show you real quick. It's super simple how to figure out how much you've contributed. You can sort back through the years, and if for whatever reason you've been with us for a few years, all the year, or 2019 will be there as well, so you can check that out. Other than that, it's looking smooth. She's riding well. We're very happy with that, but you're not here for that. You're here for the stock market, so let's talk about that. They fell for a change. Who would have thought the markets could go actually a little bit lower there? You got the Dow lower by about 1/3%. S&P and NASDAQ were a little bit worse on the day. The Russell 2000, best performer out of the day, but still gave you a little bit of loss by the end of the day. It's up after hours, so it's kind of just floating around that flat line. Anyways, we take a look at the S&P here today. Actually, let's start with the NASDAQ. I know I do that to you sometimes. Here's the NASDAQ, down over 1% on the day. It was the weakest for the day. It puts it back to basically flat on the year. We did a little bit of this Christmas tree trading up here to be up 2%, down 2%, all that. We're basically trending higher. All looks good with the NASDAQ so far. The weakness today was, Tesla was weak. So if we take a look at Tesla, finally pulling back a little bit, no big deal at all. I think if you own it, you had to be expecting a pullback. A little too far, too fast, got almost to the $900 number, decided wanted to pull back first, and that's okay. Let it pull back first, and it's no big deal. The more headline-related action came from names like Apple, your Facebook, Google, and their whole idea with the Trump Twitter bans and Facebook bans and Parler bans and all that great stuff. And so that really put a little bit of pressure on Apple, of course Facebook as well, finally breaking down out of this range, heading back to the 200-day. I know some of you were looking for that. So that news over the weekend will do that. I don't really have a lot to offer in that respect. It's not my place to provide an opinion on something that doesn't affect your money in any real way. You can certainly choose not to invest in those companies, which people obviously made today. I think the focus on that from us, as far as those stocks being lower, was the assumption that now they're going to be under more regulatory scrutiny for doing things like this. But I also think that the social media sites, Amazon and Apple, I think they also knew that. So by ganging up and doing it together, it makes it less likely that one of them gets picked off or there's any issues there. So you got to just ask yourself. It's kind of curious that they all just said poof, all in one shot. Working together, making it seem like more of a movement rather than a discretionary decision. So that's really all I have to offer on that. No sense in going any further there. Whether you agree or disagree, that's on you. Semiconductors, that was your play today, man. These guys look good. We're going to go over this here in a little bit, but in the NASDAQ, your bright lights were the semiconductors today. You got AMAT hitting new 52-week highs. Micron and others all had good days today. It was a broad-based rally looking through that. If we look at the Dow, you got a mixed bag there on the Dow. It was the only index that was able to get back to its previous close today. Everybody else couldn't get up there, so more weakness in all the other indices there. Also tied for, or it's also in second place for the year so far. Today, you're going to have names like UNH being one of the biggest drags in terms of their size. Also Salesforce.com, one of the biggest drags as well. Boeing's going to be in the news. You're going to see that headline because of that crash over there. That's kind of unfortunate to see that again so soon, but that's the news there. And the sort of the stocks that were pulling the Dow along, that's going to be Goldman Sachs. Financials did well today as they've got a big earnings calendar coming up there. So Goldman Sachs almost back to highs. That one looked pretty good. Walgreens Boots Alliance also continuing its rally off of lows. That's more and more excitement, people believing that is the bottom there. It's kind of like Wells Fargo from the other day. So that is that one there. If we go over to the S&P 500, which is where most people are looking, still positive year to date by just over 1%. Today, Tesla is going to be your biggest drag on the S&P, now that it is included in the S&P there. You're also going to have those names, right? It's the Apples, the Amazon, Facebook, those guys there that are all kind of moving together today. And so, that's what's going on over in the S&P. Now, as far as the index itself, still looks very good, still tight uptrend. No reason to believe we just found the top. I know a lot of you would like a pullback. I personally would like a pullback, but that's what you have going on there. I'd like to point out real quick the earnings coming up. Maybe I could just load this for you real quick. You may know that if you're one of our customers or research members, you can go into the site there. You can actually check out the main dashboard page. Yeah, there you go. And on the right-hand side, we've got upcoming earnings. So this time of the quarter, it's really kind of interesting to look and see, do you have any stocks coming up there? What I'd like you to do is take a look. You've got banks in here: Citi, JP Morgan, BlackRock, PNC, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Comerica, Goldman Sachs. So a lot of banks going to be reporting their earnings, and so that's the big focus. Also, if you're in there and you just want to look at stocks, just type a name. All you got to do is just type it out. I believe I typed Apple correctly there. And you could just search right on the chart if you want to take a look, or if you want to see the major indices, just click on them up there at the top. All right, I want to just show you the earnings stats real quick. I covered this the other day. There you go. So I highlighted the banks and the airlines in here because these are the names that are going to get most of the attention going forward. Tomorrow what do we got tomorrow? Tomorrow is really just Albertsons, and then things wake up as we get into the end of the week. So expect more conversation on that as we go throughout the week. But there you go. You can see the stats. And if you want a detailed overview, you can look at our class from Friday. I think what I'm going to do this week, a little bit different. Maybe Friday's FinTips video will be about the stats, so we can spend time on covering the stats rather than trying to blast through it during the show here. And so that's probably what we'll do there. Hey, we also have a good series of videos this week. We've got today, I don't know if you saw it, our FinTips video, should you sell a rental property in retirement, use that cash to invest it, or should you use the rental income dollars that you get from renting the property out to supplement your retirement income? So we're kind of doing a case study there, a little mock-up of an example, and we'll see what we can do there. Wednesday, we're doing beneficiaries. We lost a lot of people last year, death, people just passing away, COVID, and also just naturally. But you got to have your beneficiaries in order. So I kind of go over on Wednesday what it means, how you set them up like that, how you can avoid dealing with wills and probates and all that stuff to go through with beneficiaries. And then, like I said, Friday, I think we'll do the earnings on deck for next week, so we'll check that out. Our Wine and Wealth class last week was on an IRA to HSA trick that's kind of buried in the tax code there, this sort of one-time rule that you have to take advantage of that and avoid some taxes legally. So we covered that for our customers. This week, I think we're going to go over the portfolios, talk about some of the changes that we made, and focus on that as well. Let's do the sector breakdown and see what we've got there. Did you want to say something? Did I miss anything? Nothing. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. So you've got, all right, here we go. Here's our sectors in our portal. You can actually dig through this. Energy, man, killing it. So energy continuing its tear. By the way, year to date, like it's not even the middle of January yet. Year to date, energy already up 11% perfectly. Right? Incredible move there. Last 6 months, you could see it went from being the worst performing sector now all the way to the fifth best performing sector. An incredible rally there. Gave you the stats on all that. How when energy has a really very nasty year, how it likes to recover. So far, that's off to a good start. If you dig inside of it though today, a lot of it's going to be ExxonMobil. So you can go in here, you can sort by the biggest contributors to the gains today. You're going to find ExxonMobil. You also see it on your scatter plot right up here. ExxonMobil was upgraded by Morgan Stanley. We take a look at like the Got to turn the mic back on. Now we're good. Okay. I was just saying how good, we've been, and how when something crashes, it just comes back up and fixes itself now. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I know that, we don't often talk about the struggles that we go through here. We do numbers. We don't do this. So streaming and all this stuff, every day, it's like the last minute before the show. It may not happen, right? Every day, but man, that's something else there. I'm happy with that. Okay, back to the sector breakdown. So ExxonMobil is the reason why most of the gains today. Morgan Stanley upgraded them. Also said that they like their dividend sustainability. Key words there. They obviously pay a very high dividend. So I believe it's still over 7%. So that's coming off the lows. You like ExxonMobil going forward here. Probably Chevron as well. But you can kind of see the performance there if you're taking a look. I'll go to healthcare here real quick. Because that stands out too. Made new highs here. So it's been one that's been sort of reluctant to hit new highs. If we just kind of zoom in a little bit, you can see that base that it was making there. And all of a sudden it just broke out, right? We go to the next part of the year here, really at the beginning of the year. Well, a lot of that today is going to be because Eli Lilly. Alzheimer's drug going really well for them. So the stock was up today just tremendously. It was a great 11% gain on the day. I want to also point out Biogen because these two are related in this particular instance. If you look at Biogen, this is a weak stock. Now, I'm not saying you buy this sucker, but this is a weak stock. But today, 6% gain on the day. The reason for that is because Eli Lilly's Alzheimer's drug that they had actually really good declines in Alzheimer's symptoms. Biogen has a very similar drug. So if they're considered really, pretty much the same drug, then it's assumed that they're going to do well from it as well. Keep in mind, though, this is just a report. This is not official. This is not like a new drug's on the market or anything. That's just the kind of way you see biotechs just, they can be wild like that. So just heads up there. All right. I also want to point out semiconductors. I know I did already. Killing it, up 60% over the last year. We just got the November semiconductor sales, and they were at $39 billion. That's up over 7%, which is the biggest gain they've had month over month since before the virus started. That's a little bit of why you see this. You've got cloud computing. You've got the stay-at-home, like buying Logitech cameras and things like that. It's all semiconductors inside of that. You got obviously server infrastructure, all kinds of things going on there. Electronic vehicles, right? They're all based, all that stuff's made up of those chips and little widgets and all that stuff. So these guys are really starting to see that demand come back in a way where last year at this time, we weren't really sure that was the case. There were a lot of supply issues out there. Low demand, high supply was the concern. And that seems to all be headed to the wayside now. Do the charts page, and that should get us all back up to normal for now. Let's see, and I covered everything I want to do on semiconductors. So let's go to new highs, new lows. We'll keep Cody busy over there. New highs today, you got 48 new highs, and we got a list of them. No new lows. So again, another day where there's no new lows. Gilead Sciences was the stock that was closest to hitting new lows, and it has since reversed pretty sharply off the lows there. Now, inside the new highs today, you're going to notice bank stocks. Bank stocks look good overall. You've got Invesco hitting new 52-week highs. This is considered a financial company, right? They do what we do. Invesco does exactly the same thing we do, except they manage 1.2 trillion. We manage like 100 million. So, they're a little bit bigger than us overall, but that's what you got going on for Invesco. Assets under management are the focus for businesses like this. So when you're taking a look, they grow by bringing in more assets, whatever they do with them, because they make fees off those assets. They are growing through acquisition. That's their goal anyways, using up their cash to buy other companies, and they're currently doing that. Looking along the way here, you got BlackRock. Currently, the Wall Street's the largest asset manager out of the group there, just trillions and trillions of dollars. They are one of those ones that, just the smartest guys in the room, right? Stock hit new 52-week highs today. They got stable earnings history, and if I could just show you one thing real quick, there you go. There's earnings history, very stable, only because, look at this, over the last 60 quarters there, 78% beat rate, 61% revenue beat rate, and notice the stability in the performance of the stock as we go through the earnings day. So when you own this stock, if you see earnings being reported, you normally don't have anything to worry about, right? It's typically not very volatile. It's typically very, very consistent. It's pretty consistent stock overall and doing really well in the short term here. Eli Lilly, we already covered it. You know why that one's hitting new 52-week highs. I want to point out a couple others if I could. Carrier Global, so Carrier Global at 52-week highs, and a nice reversal. I like this reversal here when you see it try to pull back for one day and then it shoots up higher and takes off there with no real holding back. Also, there's going to be a few other semiconductors in there as well. You got Xilinx up 2% on the day, and KLA-10 Core looking really good as well. We'll do some stocks in the news. We'll get out of here because apparently we've got a party to go to. Jesus. So, Cody, man, you turned down the music over there?
I don't know what's going on over there, man.
You guys hear that? Come on, they got to be able to hear that.
Yeah, it's loud. I actually don't think they can.
You don't think they can? Man, it's like a Tex-Mex party in here. Apparently some of the neighbors are having a get-together. We're not in a house, by the way. We're in a warehouse. So, you know, as you go down, there's more and more people, and there's like a granite company that, you know, they cut granite and stuff. And I think they're having a cookout on them, a little fiesta on them one day. All right, so let's do the stocks in the news, and then I'll take your questions because I'm just happy this is still working. Okay, first up, we're going to talk about, what do we got? Stocks in the news. There it is. So you got to put up that slide as well. We got Disney in the news. So Disney up about 0.25% today. Not a whole lot going on stock-wise, but they are in the news because they are very much upset with California. So does it go up by chance? The stocks in the news one? I don't think this one. No, try it one more time. I think this is, there we go. So they're mad at California because they kept them shut down longer without any real guidelines as to how they were going to open. So they are actually looking at moving some of their offices to Orlando over here. They've already been scouted, like looking for locations there. And so they're apparently trying to get everything but the theme parks out of California. And so the stock's pulling back there just a little bit. KB Homes. Right at the 200-day moving average there, earnings are on deck for tomorrow. Since 2012, they've only missed 6 times on earnings. It's a very consistent one here. These guys, there's a lot of home builders coming out, so I'm going to try to cover them for you as we go, because how do you know what the difference is between one home builder or the other? These guys are focused on building homes for the first-time home buyer that's willing to buy a new home, or those that are stepping up from their first-time home. These aren't luxury homes. These are not mega mansions or anything. They have a backlog of over 6,000 homes, which is up quarter over quarter. So that's really good for them, the backlog. I think it's almost to 7,000, to be honest with you. They're in the middle of what they call a returns-based program. They set out a mission that they have, and where they're looking at finding every way to improve returns. So when they sell these new homes, they're trying to raise their margins. They're trying to get the consumer to actually buy more upgrades. They've got the standalone studios where you can go in and say, I want that cabinet versus that cabinet. Well, that cabinet's 10% more. They're really pushing that right now and trying to lower their costs overall because there's a concern in the space of employment costs, right? That cost of labor is becoming higher and higher there. So when you look at KB Homes, you got to double off the virus lows here. They more than doubled in price, actually. It's been pulling back from those highs, about 20% or so. So a lot of people looking at this area saying maybe this is support, but notice you don't have a lot of action because everybody's just waiting for earnings there. All right, Boeing, unfortunately, that's that plane crash, down 1.5% on the day. That's not the 737 MAX, so it was a really old plane and an older model, so we don't really have any more info on that. NIO pulling back ever so slightly there, and NIO says they're going to work with NVIDIA to develop new automated electronic vehicles, and they may even use a different brand or something. So that one pulled back just a little bit after gapping up. Obviously, it was a good day for it. And then Twitter, obviously getting hit hard today for banning President Trump from a platform. Also, Barron said that they have very big concerns for Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, Apple, and Google with the decisions that they've made. Like I said, not my place to say what's going on there, but you've got to expect volatility there given those decisions. That's not going to be a headline that goes away no matter what you feel about the media. That's going to be something that stays for a little bit. So with earnings coming up from a lot of these stocks, you know they're going to get those questions on the earnings calls, and you also know they're going to be getting a lot of questions about it going forward, waiting for comments and sort of statements and stuff. So you just got to expect volatility there, whether you agree with them or not. And so that's that one. Oh, also, I did say Disney, didn't I? Your Disney fact of the day, and then I'll take your questions. Okay, Magic Kingdom. You go in Magic Kingdom, you go off to the right, Tomorrowland. It's the futuristic land of tomorrow. They're building everything there. Well, when you turn down to go to Tomorrowland, up at the top, there's this big spinning rocket thing. You could ride it. It's called Astro Orbiter. There's a lot of stats I could give you on that. Spins 11 times a minute. It's one of the oldest rides. It used to be named something else, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the exciting thing, or the cool thing, is there's a hidden Mickey ear in the cement. And it's really hidden. It's not like really stamped out. It's like it was there on day one. It's kind of worn down a little bit. You got to look for it. When you go to the entrance of the Astro Orbiter, I'll give you a hint. You can actually step on it, but it's a hidden Mickey. All around Magic Kingdom, there's actually hidden Mickeys if you can find them, and that is one of them. So I'll let you guys go find the hidden Mickey. All right, let's take the questions before this goes down again. Yep. Tesla goes down another 10%. You're going to need a suicide watch for new investors. Yeah, probably Bitcoin too. Impressive pullback in Bitcoin. I got to say, old Charlie here has learned from our topics or our discussions of too far, too fast. You've got to take the opportunity to sell whatever it is when it gets too far, too fast. Don't care what it is, but in this case of Bitcoin, that's a quick move from 40 to almost 30,000 in one day. Yikes. And that's okay, right? Things like this can pull back. It's just the problem is when they get too far too fast, they pull back scary-like, and then it scares people from investing more dollars. Versus something more boring like a BlackRock. See how this is not too far too fast? That means that every day somebody can justify a reason for buying that stock, whereas in Bitcoin, every day more and more people go, wait for it to pull back. Then it falls out of an elevator shaft and drops, and people go, well, I don't know now. Was that the top? So you don't want that emotion in the products that you're investing in, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. Tesla is a great example. You don't want to have to deal with that. You want consistent uptrends that make people feel like they're going to miss out if they don't get on that ride. So that's where but otherwise, and it doesn't need to be a prediction there. I mean, we were talking about it last week about it going too far too fast, but it's every time. I've done it. I've done a class for customers. I pointed out every time I see it. Every time it gets too far too fast, it will pull back. Stocks, currencies, Bitcoin, anything does not like to be too extended. Home prices, car prices. Yeah, I love it. Velocity and volatility. I believe that was that. Yeah, that was the class there. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got earnings this week, so that's going to be a big focus. So just expect that. You're going to see individual stocks being more volatile, especially with the bank stocks, Goldman Sachs and such coming up. You're going to see that maybe if some of those have larger moves, that they have a slight impact on the market's performance. So over the next couple days, if you see that the Dow is up 1% and the S&P is down 1%, that disconnect can actually be true this time of year. So, that's something to expect here going forward. And I'm trying to read while I talk. Do a Biden capital gains video. We're all in trouble. Yeah, I did cover that for customers. We went through some of Biden's proposals, things that he was looking, that we had some clarity on what he was trying to propose. Sadly, we're missing a lot of specifics on it. So there's reason to be fearful. There's reason to be optimistic. We just need more clarity on some of this stuff. Yep. Future closing beat, a breakdown of energy since November. Performance broken down like you did for the big banks, regional exchanges, break down the energy sector, like who's pulling back? Go through the industry. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Walmart's up a touch after hours. Yeah, they're going to offer bank accounts, I believe. They're going to work with the bank that works with Robinhood to start offering banks checking, savings, and money market accounts. Seems like a no-brainer. Now, not everything Walmart does is gold, by the way. So they take shots. There's a difference between, companies that, like a Tesla, that everything they seem to do is working out well. They got good people. Walmart's a little bit different. They take shots on things, and if they don't work, they cut it. Jet Black or Jet.com was a big one there. They bought them. The retail side didn't work out. They kept the technology. I believe they bought one of McDonald's technology partners as well, and it didn't work out. So they kept part of the technology. They just closed everything else down. So it's interesting. Checking, savings, and all that. I certainly see that they feel they can attract the target audience. I think if I was Walmart, I'd try to focus a little more on healthcare. I think you could win more with healthcare. I know it's not easy, but I think you could do that. Oh, this is actually a good song. You hearing that song over there?
I don't know this one. I'm not familiar with it.
I mean, that's like a sad, that's country music in Mexican or Honduran. They're Honduran, right? I think so. That's a country music song. I can say that. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm allowed to say that. No, I'm just saying that's a good song. Anyways. Rates are rising. Yeah, rates are rising. That's for sure. I'll take that as kind of the last question there. No sign of stopping, by the way. If you take a look at that, just a beeline for higher rates. Now, you know, when rates go up, the prices of bonds go down. So that's why we're viewing it this way. You can look directly at bond futures, bond notes. These guys, not even stopping after hours, continuing to sell off. So rates are moving higher despite the Fed's efforts. But I think they'd be okay with that to try to maybe slow things down just a little bit. Yep. Yeah, I know Walmart health. I mean, like Walmart, like medical insurance. You know what I mean? Like, think of that. There's so much they could do there, but that's one of my passions out there, I guess. Yeah. I love it. Short squeezes in the dollar. Expect 5% market sell-off. Well, I'll use what could we use? The UUP, I guess. I mean, if you want to use the DXY, I can use that. Okay, actually. That ETF is not, or that index isn't coming up. So if you use something like the dollar there, you have a slight breather because stimulus is not in the discussions right now, but I don't think you just found the bottom in the dollar, to be honest with you. I really don't think you found the bottom in the dollar. There's so much coming this year and so much money coming this year. Everywhere from $600 billion to $2 trillion is the Wall Street's guesstimates on what's coming out stimulus-wise. It's a tough one. It's definitely going to be a fight. Yeah. So I'll leave it at that because I think we did it. We got a nice long one here today. We'll be back tomorrow to do this all over again, and you enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Hit the subscribe button, and do appreciate you guys being here for. I think we're almost to 100,000 subscribers, by the way. I'm getting a plaque at some point. I want to put a plaque. I'll put it right there. You help us get to 100,000 subscribers, I'll put it right up there. I've never gotten anything from YouTube, man. I slave over this thing every day. You know what we do? All right, I'm going to quit complaining.